get to know your marketplace, network.
Right. That's
right?
important.
Make relationships.
That's how we met.
That's how we met. We met golfing.
Yeah, golfing.
And we didn't even golf.
We sold our house.
Don't get too psyched because you haven't sold it yet. You're in escrow. Do you understand what escrow is?
Hi, everybody. My name is Maria, and I'm with Orange County Escrow Services. And we want to thank you guys for joining us on this little podcast. And the purpose of the podcast is obviously to get more information as far as what is the perfect loan signing. And with that, our expert on that is Jose Llamas, the founder of Sunset Notaries.
Thank you.
So introduce yourself, Jose.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be joining you on your podcast.
Thank you.
And congratulations for all your success. And I hope this podcast may continue to grow and have different guests, and we can all learn from and benefit from them.
We all benefit, correct.
So thank you so much for having me. I'm Jose Llamas, founder of Sunset Notaries with myself and my wife. It's pretty much a small business run by the family. And a little bit about me. Where do you want to start? Tell me.
So tell me about you. How did you get into this loan signing industry?
Sure. So let me go back a little bit.
Yeah.
So I've been in and out of the industry, of this real estate mortgage industry, maybe around 15 years on and off, while pursuing my dream of becoming a famous musician.
Right.
So for the longest time, I was an active musician. That was my full-time gig.
Nice.
I was a musician traveling in the States, Mexico. And, like anything, we had our hit. We had actually Grammy nominated.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a
wow.
Grammy nominated artist.
Look at you.
Yeah. No es por presumir, ¿verdad? Pero,
You're a superstar.
and, like anything, it's like, okay, been there, done that. Now what? I'm getting older.
Yeah.
What's going on, Me, my lovely wife, get married, have kids, more kids. We're like the Mexican Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
And once I left the music, it's like, well, what do I do now?
Right.
Like, what else? I was an insurance agent. It's like, okay, that's cool. It's like, it really didn't really drive me.
Right.
And I was also a notary.
Okay.
But I wasn't active.
Right.
I had my commission license, so it's like, okay, cool. Like, now what?
Yeah.
So once I left the music industry, it's like, let me put this to work. Let me figure out what can I do as a notary. Let me put it to work. So I started asking, and this time we're living up in the Bay Area.
Wow. Okay.
And I started asking realtor friends, like, hey, can I do your loan signing? Like, I know you guys need a notary. Like, can I do it? It's
Yes.
like, well, it doesn't work that way anymore.
Right.
It's like, well, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing my research online. It's like, well, what do I have to do? Like, I had no one to guide me.
Right.
So I started doing my online research. And, I took a couple courses.
Okay.
A couple courses to learn how to actually do a loan signing, right? Because you first become a notary, then, you get certified to do loans. It's obviously, you want to know what you're doing.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And sure enough, took a course, started making sense, started asking my friends, it's like, give me a shot. And on top of that, they're like, well, it doesn't work that way. You still need some other certifications
Right.
or approvals. It's like, well, come on, man. Like,
Right.
So up north, it works different than Southern California.
Yes.
And I didn't know that. Because I'm used to Southern California, everything escrow. I mean, there's independent escrow companies like yourself. And then, of course, we have title insurance and everybody
Right.
else who's involved in the transaction. Up north, you still have the same, but title's
more driven.
Title's more driven, and they do escrow. They do their own escrows.
Yeah.
Right?
The in-house escrow and
The
title.
in-house escrow. So it's like, okay, cool. So now they required you to have some type of experience, of course. And on top of that, you have to get sponsored.
Wow. Okay.
So, for example, if I wanted to do some type of Fidelity loan signings, and Fidelity is humongous. They
yeah.
have Tycor, they have Stewart, they have, whoever else is out there.
Yeah,
But it's a
under
big
them,
organization. You have to be Fidelity approved.
And we hear that a lot in escrow. It's a
Right.
lot of like the title companies, well, they have to be approved, they have to be Fidelity approved. And so we come across a lot of people who are not Fidelity approved. And then we get those clientels that are like, hey, well, just get my cousin. He just got their notary. And I need to explain to them it doesn't just work that way, that
Right.
you can't get just someone that just got their notary, because there is a difference, and it's important that they are Fidelity approved. But what does that mean, Fidelity approved?
So Fidelity approved, it's, if you will, an internal approval, an internal certification with the organization. And somebody has to sponsor you. Somebody has to vouch for you, right? On top of that, you do have to have your 2-year commission license. You have to be a notary for minimum 2 years so they can accept qualify you. Literally, you have to do an application, you submit it, and somebody sponsors you, and then you wait for an approval. So it's it's
a
tedious
process.
work. It's a process. It's good to have. So that was big up in the Bay Area for me. So it was a must, right? And then also being first American title approved.
Yes.
That's a different one. Luckily for me, I was fortunate and blessed that I had a good surrounding of my agents out there. Big shout out to Tony Razzo and Yesenia, who helped me, who guided me,
Who became your mentor?
who became my mentors, who I bothered to print docs in their office. It's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's a different story.
Yeah, no, we all got those stories with notaries.
Yeah.
Good story. Yeah.
And of course, you can pick them up, but it's not like you running your own show, you printing your own material, and then taking care of.
How long you been in this loan signing business with yourself?
Great question. So I've been an independent notary loan signing agent since 2017.
Okay.
So 2017, end of 2017, that's when I started. And I fell in love with this industry, right? I fell in love with meeting new people every single day of my life, right? And going over their loan sign. It's like, well, you're only notarizing, you're only verifying signatures. It's a little bit more than that. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of stress going in on every single transaction. And you do this
Yes.
for a living as well. And people who are viewing could relate and understand how stressful one single transaction can be.
Yep.
Now multiply by X amount that you're dealing on a daily basis as a signing, and you come across different people who have a different type of stress or very emotional of selling a property for X reason,
Right.
buying their first home. That's huge,
That is very huge. Yes.
right? And here comes the little old notary at the end of the transaction,
Right.
almost, right? And whatever stress is going on, and we mess up.
Yeah. That's huge. Yeah.
That's
you
huge.
don't
So-
want to mess up
so
on a
you can ask
first-time
me all
home
those,
buyer.
all those questions of how we do actual perfect loan signing, right? So educating yourself, mastering your craft,
Correct.
simple,
Yeah.
right? And we're gonna learn as we go. But anyways.
Yeah, no, that's good, because it is important even with escrow, right? So we understand, for me, myself, I love helping people. I love, making sure that every client gets explained in details what they're signing. And a lot of the times I come across with, notaries that are, there, but they can't really explain the loan docs, and they call me. And for me, what I like to do is make sure that before the notary goes out to the client, that the client has already spoken to the loan officer and understands all the documents that they're actually signing, because we are not really authorized or licensed to go over their terms of their loan or the rate, or, if it's a fix or if it's a, and I had a lot of cases while on the signing, they can't get a hold of the loan officer, so they call the escrow officer. And, I've been in this real estate business for quite a while. I used to be an underwriter, so I understand perfectly all the loan docs. I can explain what they are, but I don't go more than that, because I am not licensed, to explain them. And so, most of the time I always tell my clients, or the notary, stop the notary if your client does not feel comfortable signing terms that they did not agree to. Has that happened to you?
It happens every single day, and it goes hand in hand, because we weren't hired to represent them and get their loan or go show houses. That's where the realtor comes in. That's where the LO comes in, right? We are hired to go over documents without crossing that thin line of giving an advice or an opinion.
Correct.
Right? Then we're falling into the category of an attorney. You're not an attorney, right? We're here to collect signatures,
Correct.
or witness signatures, verifying identification. However, it is our responsibility as a notary loan signing agent to go over the set of documents.
Okay.
Again, without giving an opinion or an advice. 'Cause
Correct.
then you ask me, well, how's my rate?
It is what it is.
Yeah. How you doing? No.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Now that they're not doing it on purpose. They're just trying to ask a question, but it's you can have there's
They
a lot
try
of
to
liability
engage,
behind it, right?
They try to
So-
engage you on, well, how's the rates? Am I getting
Right.
a good rate?
I say generally speaking, the rates have been historically low, which they have. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They were 2020, 2021. They were great. Okay. But
Now
I'm not
it's
giving
not.
you an advice and
Yeah,
opinion. I'm just
exactly.
talking in general. And going back to actually how to run the show now, we go over their terms. We go over your net sheet. You go over the fees. Where I'm just pointing pretty much, obviously going whatever their terms are.
Right.
This is your loan amount. This is your interest rate. This is your monthly payment. We have an impounded account, right?
Correct.
Tax and insurance. Is there a prepayment penalty or not? It's
It's
in
there.
writing. We can point out.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
And going back to the question earlier, you were mentioning that I have my cousin or my good friend. He's a notary. I want to give him a shot. Great. Do they know what they're doing? Because it's all good and all. We all want that opportunity.
Right.
But if we're not sure of what we're doing, it can cost a lot of money.
To the client, yeah.
To the client and time, right? Because they're trying to close and fund their deal. And now because of a hiccup, we have to redraw documents. We have to amend some stuff. They missed a signature. They missed a stamp, and here we go back. We missed funding and recording cutoff time. And it's Friday afternoon,
Right.
and they wanted to move in the weekend.
That's it all happens now that time.
And it
so.
happens more than often. We deal with high volume, different clienteles. So all day there's something going on.
Right.
So talk about working under stress and pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, and let it not be that first time home buyer, right? Because then his experience is
Yeah.
going to be even worse and horrible. But I agree with you. I think for me as an escrow company, I try to screen that notary, and I myself want to give the opportunity to everybody. I'm a notary myself. I try not to do loan signings just because I'm trying to run my business as an escrow officer, right? So with that being said, it's, I hire obviously you guys as the professionals because I know that you guys are very quick. You're very responsive. The system that you guys work off of, it's amazing because you're literally not only telling me, the escrow company, where we're at with that notary order, but you're also letting know the loan officer or the agent, right? So if they want to get included in those emails, they see step by step when you set up your loan signing. And it's an amazing program.
It is. So we have our own, software program in real time with live updates. And thank God we live in this era of technology that you can use it to your benefit, right?
Correct.
Like in this precise moment, you guys are watching us live via, Instagram, Facebook, and later on YouTube and whatnot.
Right.
That's amazing.
Correct.
Right? In the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
So we use that to our advantage, of course. And our software system, once we get an order, for example, I know you still like the old school way, which is totally fine, right? You still email us, hey guys, I have this order, take care of it. Cool. Like that's.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
And it's okay. And it's okay. Like we'll
Right.
take care of it no matter what. But yeah, like let's get you involved and utilizing because you're cutting one step. Right. So whatever. So our software system, we can add whoever wants to be involved as a participant, like your LO, like your realtor, like if there's a transaction coordinator, we can add anybody so they can view live updates. Okay. They generate an order. Great. It's set tentative at X time. The notary reached out, made confirmation, right? It's all about real live updates.
Right.
Okay, they confirmed it. Great. You have a peace of mind that, okay, they're taken care of. Signing went well. Docs were dropped off at FedEx. FedEx number, click a button, it'll tell you docs were dropped off at this time, expect delivery at X time next day. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So that's our software program that we utilize. And so far, I haven't heard any bad things about it. At the contrary, they appreciate it.
Right. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, and it's great. It's great to just to have some type of schedule, because when you're working in high volume orders and signings on a daily basis, it's easy to forget something.
Correct.
Even uploading a single document, right? Because sometimes, it's easy for you to separate your items: escrow docs, loan docs, and miscellaneous docs. And let's just say one of my schedulers forgets to add an attachment, then we have a problem, right?
Right.
So attention to detail is crucial in this industry, and you know that. Of course.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I like as well, that you also have other agents in your company that can sign in the East Coast, anywhere out of just California. It's not just California, because I remember having a California deal, and there was two clients. One was in California, the other one was out in New York in the East Coast, and on a refinance, time is out, of the essence, right? So because we had that 3-day rescission, and I said, can you handle it? Because we have to have 2 signings in 2 different locations, and how do we get those signings? So
right. So that's a split signing, of course, and it happens more than often. Let's just say we have a married couple and the husband is out traveling for work, and just so happens, hey, we have dogs. Great. My husband's out of state working. Happens more than often, not a problem. We can do a split signing, right? Obviously, as long as our rate lock's not expiring anytime soon and we have the time, especially in the refi when it's owner occupied, we have that 3-day rescission period like you were saying. So what happens? Who's signing first? Doesn't really matter, right? At the end of the day, whoever signs first, then we'll get the other one signed. So let's just say the husband's out of town. We send our notary out of state, take care of him. He signs his documents the day of. He signs his rescission period the day of. So everything's good. They ship the documents back to either you, and then we drive to the wife in this example, and we take care of her. Everything's done same day. The dates in this case, right? Because dates are very sensitive. You can never backdate any document, right? That's, you can fall into fraud if you will, and all that stuff, right? Legalities. So her rescission period starts the day she signed, and it supersedes the previous one.
Right.
So the rescission technically starts when the lady's signing,
right?
When the spouse, yeah. So yes, out of state signings all day,
no
every
problem,
day, not a problem.
Yeah, no, we've had that, and then you also upload. Do you upload the loan docs if it's necessary? Like some of the times, because they're out of state, a lot of the lenders they can do desk, funding. And I know you guys do offer that as well.
So that's a great question. So what we do was what Maria's referring to, we call it scan backs.
Okay.
Right? So, hey, scan your documents, upload them. And it's a win-win. And I'll tell you why. We are based here in Southern California. We do have our list of preferred notaries, especially here in Southern California. That's where we're based of. And of course, out of the area, once we start seeing, some orders coming in for the same area, we start making relationships. First of all, Ollie scheduling, we have to really filter who we're going to hire. We want to make sure they're the right person to do the job.
Right.
That's first and foremost. Very important. Yes. Second, if it's the first time working with an individual, we do require scan backs. It doesn't matter, even though you don't need them, but I want to review their work, or our office has to review their work before shipping.
Oh,
documents.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's important. It's an extra step, but you can save a lot of time and even money in case we don't close in time.
Got
right? So that's important. Let's review the documents. Okay, you're good. Hey, you forgot an initial here. Let's go back and take care of it.
Correct.
If it's anything, our lines are always open to our notaries.
Okay.
So for peace of mind, they always know they can count on us if they have a question, because it happens all the time. It's like, oh, this is new to me. I don't know how to explain it. What's going on here?
Right.
Give me a call. Our lines are always open to anybody. Even if we build relationships with my notaries, and let's just say they have an assignment that doesn't belong to us, and they have the questions, call me.
Yeah.
because that's going to bring them more value.
Right.
And it's going to prepare them for the next one that I give them. It's
Right.
like, oh yeah, Jose helped me out on this one. I know what to do already.
And every loan docs, they're all different, right? So every loan, every lender is different. Loan Depot can be different. All the docs are
Yeah.
all different, so they're not always the same.
Yeah,
you know?
so some lenders have their own, disclosures, if you will. All in all, the transaction, the loan side it is the same, but not, right?
Right.
And even escrow.
Yeah.
You might have some certain escrow instructions versus someone else. Another escrow officer has, their
Different,
style,
yeah.
or even the forms might look different, and you're used to doing something and then they throw you a curveball. It's like, wait a minute,
What is this
what's
form
going
for?
on
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to scam bags, it's always good because, like you were saying, if there's table funding, it's like, hey, we look good. Here you go. We can fund today, expect hard copy tomorrow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great.
Beautiful.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what have you, I guess, experience in loan signings that can cause, I always say there's always going to be something that happens in escrow, something that can go bad, right? So one of the things that I know as a notary, maybe to come out, the client's ID, if they're expired, if the ID doesn't have the same name that you're verifying, right? It's kind of like, for me, what I like to do is always ask in the very beginning,
That's
can we
great.
make sure that your client's ID reads the same? Or even when I come down to, let's just say where, the husband is taking over a possession as a married man, sole and separate property in the state of California, we have to do an interspousal, right? So we got to make sure the full name of the spouse, how it reads in the ID, because that's how you're identifying it.
That's one of the most important questions, actually, Maria. And yes, thank you so much for asking. Once we receive an order, and it comes back to communication, first of all, I don't want to have too much involvement. Like, say you made contact with the client, then we made contact with the client, then whoever I hire made contact with, they can get like, hey, wait a minute,
Overwhelmed.
Like,
Aren't you
That's
guys
too many
doing?
calls.
Yeah.
So, anyways, once we square that off, whoever makes contact, if we're trying to schedule this for our notary or the notary makes contact, we always encourage, hey, take time, ask them, okay, and just how do you actually spell your name, just for my own peace of mind, once I receive documents to compare and make sure they match.
Right.
Because you'll be surprised that the most common names are misspelled.
Yes.
And like, for example, Gonzalez. The last
Yeah.
name Gonzalez, you can add Z's, you can add S's, right? So
Yeah.
which one is it?
And I've
happens.
done that mistake as an escrow officer. I've done that mistake. I'm here typing, thinking that I spelled Gonzalez right, or if it's a longer last name. And some of the times I get caught, by the notary. You guys had like, hey, you guys misspelled this. Because you do verify the
Yeah.
loan docs before you even go to loan signing. So that's a plus for me because, you check it out and be like, hey, Maria, the deed of trust is the last name is spelled with an S or with a C. We need to correct it, or we need to generate a grant deed. And I know that for experience, it's like, okay, all right, let me do the grant deed and send it to you. What happens in the case that you already have loan docs printed and like a last minute emergency where you have to do a grant deed, like, what do you
We
do?
use whiteout.
No.
Yeah,
I know. No whiteout, but
So, great question. So there's different, obviously, what I tell my notaries is like, call whoever hired you. It's like, hey, I have a situation. Okay, call me. What's going on? And then if we can fix it, great. If it's something, because it happens more than often that the deed of trust, it has to misspelled or we're missing a letter or something, right? If the signature lines are correct, I'll just ask them, make a note. We'll have the lender swap it, make the correction and swap it. And then we'll obviously relay that message to you guys
Right.
and whoever's involved in the transaction. But if it's something that it has to be redrawn, well, it has to be redrawn. We have to pause what we're doing, relay the message.
go to the back of your car. You have a printer, I heard.
I personally have a printer. I used to have a sound system with 12-inch subwoofers. Now I have
wow.
a printer.
Yeah.
Man, times have changed.
I know, right? Before you used to pump it up. Now
Yep.
we're pumping printing pages
Yep.
in the back of your car. But that's
Yeah.
awesome, though, because, that's that can save you from going to Kinko's, from going back and
It's very expensive to print at FedEx, Staples, Office Max, all those stores is very expensive. And the convenience of having as a mobile notary, I mean, our title is mobile notary. Why not be prepared? If you hire a contractor and they come unprepared, they don't have the proper tools. It's like, really, dude? Like, right?
Yeah.
So as time passes and there's videos of people posting, how to hook up a printer and with an inverter on your vehicle without, burning the vehicle.
Or running your battery out.
You see more and more notaries out there who are taking advantage of that, having a printer. It's just
technology nowadays.
just
You
everything,
really have to be on top of the
know?
technology and very competitive with the notaries.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Instacart, right? I mean, I don't remember the last time I went into a Costco or a grocery store. It's like, just deliver it to my house.
Yeah.
It's convenience. It's
very-
convenience, right? So that's where we come in, right? Why not? If this is your full-time job, make that investment. It's trust me, it'll pay off in a day, like in a couple of days. You get your money back and then some, right? Convenience. Because let's just say, for example, there is a redraw. And and they act fast because they can redraw documents pretty quickly, right?
Right.
Okay. It's like, hey, I have new docs ready. Oh shoot, I have to go back home, print docs, come back. I have a pre-scheduled appointment at X time. Now I have to shuffle around, right? So one thing can be a domino effect, and it can just ruin everything. But if you have your printer in your vehicle, it's like, okay, cool. Let me run to my vehicle and print my documents there, right? Or if the client has a printer, cool. But a lot of times we get legal size paperwork and letter size paperwork. Everything is mixed.
Right. So that's another good thing
that's
too.
That's another story, having proper printing settings and
proper legal and letter paperwork.
I have notaries out there who will shrink the page.
Yeah.
And then I get a phone call. It's like, hey, dude, like, what happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? This was supposed to be legal.
Yeah.
So, little mistakes like that, it happens. And if we can try to avoid all that and just be prepared, you're just bringing more value to the table and you'll probably get more work.
Yeah, I agree.
So, having the printer in your car is pretty
very
awesome.
convenient.
It's pretty
How many
awesome.
agents do you have, or loan signing agents that you have currently under Sunset Notaries?
There's so many. We do have a great list of notaries, preferred notaries here in Southern California, and out of the area and out of the state. I just say locally we have a good 50.
Oh, okay.
Just locally, what is Southern California. It pressures me to look for more business so I can give more business.
Right.
Because I'm all about giving.
Right.
If I can give you everything, like, you take care of it, like, I want to, right? Because on a daily basis, like, hey, I'm available. This is my schedule. I'm open. Or I have new people. Hey, I'm new to this industry. Can you give me a shot? Like, I want to give a shot to everyone because that was me.
You were there.
That was me. And someone gave me a shot. So why not, pay it forward? And when we do that, and it just motivates me more to keep growing and scaling so I can provide more work for my people.
That's good.
So I'll say around 50 around the area, and out of state. Well, I mean, we have unlimited access to the entire database of notaries in the entire country.
Okay.
Right. But then it comes down to their experience, how we filter them, and at the end of the day, we are hoping they get the job done correctly. If they're new, right? And again, that's where the scambacks come in. I'll pre-screen, I'll review their work, and say, okay, you're good. So yeah.
That's good. As far as the bonds, so I know each notary has to have and buy protection, right, for any errors and any type of fraud that a notary, because we do hear those scary notary frauds out there that they do sign, and it's very important that you one, document the driver's license, get a thumbprint, right? Make sure that whoever is signing in front of you is in front of you. But I think that it's important that you know what you're doing, right? So if you don't, these bonds are important. How do they help
Yeah.
the notaries?
So that's a great question. Requirements to becoming a notary is having your protection, right? Your surety bond, right?
Right.
That actually protects the public against you, right? And then on top of that, you have your errors in the mission. So
Right.
that's your business liability, if you will, because
Right.
you are a small business as an individual, right? So that's where your surety bond comes in, your errors in the mission. And when it comes to your errors in the mission, for me, is they're all important, but the more protection is, I think, your errors in the mission, right? They require you to have a minimum of 25K protection, but you're dealing with Southern California, you're dealing with $1 million homes.
$1 million homes.
Like, that's gonna cover the furniture patio. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like so you need to increase it.
Yeah.
At a minimum, my notaries have to have at least 100,000.
Okay.
Right? As a business, minimum 1 million.
Right.
Right? Because I'm sure, like,
Yeah,
yourself,
for
you
me,
have to,
I
right?
have to have errands and emissions
Especially
and a bond.
you, there's a lot of money that you have to handle. So I can just imagine the liability behind that and the insurance that you have to have. But as a notary, I'll say a good 100,000 E&O. You're good. Your standard 15K for bond, more than enough, I think. But again, the more the merrier, right? The more
Right.
protection. I mean, how do you insure your cars? How do you insure your home, right? If something happens, you want to be protected, so increase your coverage.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
How
So sorry to
Go
cut you
ahead.
off. So you were saying about, then protecting yourself.
Yes.
That's the insurance aspect of a notary, right? That's what covers you.
Right.
And also your journal. Your journal. What did you notarize? Who did you notarize? Do we have a valid ID, a valid driver's license, passport, right? Every single real estate transaction requires a thumbprint,
Right.
right? And just make sure you do your journal entry.
Yeah. Because they can if there comes an audit and there's been some hard money lenders or some even title companies on hard money loans, or depending on the structure of the loan, I myself had been asked to give a copy of that journal line
The entry.
to make the entry, to give to the title company. They want to make sure that you really identify this person and there
course.
was a journal entry in your notary book.
And why do they ask this if necessary? Because they might be some type of fraud going on. And I don't know if you know, I'm sure you know, because you're also a notary, that little stamp that we carry is so powerful.
Powerful.
It's powerful. I mean, there's so many fraud cases out there, and it's scary, right? And it's not like a slap in the hand. It's like a felony, prison time.
Right.
Right. So very important, very crucial to get the job done. And that's the first thing I do. Let me verify your ID, make sure it's valid, it's not expired. Do my journal entry, get their signature, get their thumbprint.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, because, a notary plays a very big role in a real estate transaction.
Of course.
Because you guys are the ones who have to identify. And yes, we've heard of scary stories of, a notary identifying someone that wasn't really that person. They had a fake ID. How do you guys prepare for that as far as a presentation on a fake ID? Or, obviously, I mean, without the technology and everything, I think, it's very hard.
Yeah, and you start, man, your intuition, right? I mean, if you have a feeling that there's red flags and you don't feel comfortable signing,
Go
don't
with your
do
gut.
it. Go with your gut all the time, because it can happen. It has happened. I mean, I'm sure there's cases out there that has happened, and always that's why we write down what we're doing, right? On this day, I did this for this individual, and I verified this ID, signed, thumbprint. That's your protection. Right? You might have to go into court to trial, whatever's going on. I hope that never happens to anyone.
And be a witness to.
Right? But that's how you're going to be protected. It's like, well, let me see
Right.
what you did. The judge will ask, well, here you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. You're off the hook. Have a great day.
Yeah. I had an experience a while back.
Scary.
It's very scary, but like you said, you have to go with your gut. You have to go with your instinct. And I went to a signing, very late. And this guy, who I was signing smelled like marijuana, right? And so he was not all there. And I just had in my gut, like, you know what? I'm sorry, but I cannot sign you, not under the influence,
Yeah.
you know? So those are the moments that you kind of have to be responsive to, you know, you said you had an oath, you agreed to be a notary, but you have to take full responsibility for what you know, what you're doing. And for me, I had to be like, you know what? You know, I have to come another day. I can't notarize you right now. I was trying to say it very respectfully, but it has happened where I can't notarize you even
Yeah.
when someone who, you know, who is after surgery or they're not very capable of even signing. I rather not sign because, you know, I don't want to be responsible when that person comes, well, I was under the influence, or I was taking high medication and she knew, or they can, you know,
Yeah,
it could
it's
turn out
huge.
bad.
And you know, for me, just lately, I've been going to a lot of different throughout Southern California senior living facilities.
Wow.
Which is cool, you know, whatever. We have to just be really careful with seniors, right? Obviously, you have a lot of patient, you know, with them. Obviously, they're a little bit slower. Just be really careful, right?
Right.
Because they can, you never know. You know, unfortunately, there's people out there just trying to take advantage. With that being said, make sure you get proper identification. If you feel or that there's some type of red flags, like go with your gut instinct. As you
Yeah.
mentioned.
No, for sure. So I want to end this podcast obviously on a positive note. You know, what do you, to all our like people out there that are starting a notary, you know, young kids or, you know, in their 20s, come out of college, you know, what type of advice do you give them?
Sure.
As far as, you know, if they want to get into this industry, because, you know, it is a good industry to be in, especially real estate is always going to be real estate. And I know notaries, you know, based on how I pay, you know, they can make a good living off of it.
Of course.
So what advice do you give those young kids or even anybody that, you know, wants to put this as a side job or, you know, a hobby, and what would you recommend them?
Well, first of all, love what you do. If you want to get into something, do it from the bottom of your heart. Truly fall in love with it. The first thing people tend to look at, well, how much is it? What's beneficial? Is it going to benefit me? How much money am I going to make? If you start having that mentality, it's not going to work. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. It's not going to work, right? Instead of switching that mindset and saying, I'm going to do this from the bottom of my heart, I'm going to be great at it. So master your craft.
Right. We talked about that.
Master your craft. Be the best notary out there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You want to be the best escrow officer. I want to be the best notary loan signing, you know,
Yeah.
agency out there. Master your craft. Yes, pursue it. Being a notary loan signing agent is great. It changed my life. It's helped me, you know, just grow as an individual, as a husband, as a father. What else can I say? Continue education. Know the trends that are going on, right? Like especially like right now, the rates, you know, spiked up a little bit. What's going on in your marketplace, right? Get to know your marketplace, network,
Right. That's
right?
important.
Make relationships.
That's how we met.
That's how we met. We met golfing.
Yeah.
And
Golfing.
we don't even golf.
Yeah. No, network is very important.
It's important because we live in the era of information. Right. And if you want some information, well, we have something, we have to pay for it. Right. So networking is important. Don't come across like, hey, you know, this, I can do this for you. Well, yeah, I mean, anybody can.
Right.
Right. Like me or anybody else can do the same thing, because at the end of the day, we do. But what sets you apart? Right. That's one thing. And on top of that, when I say building relationships, really build the relationship.
Right. Building relationships can last you forever, because
I mean,
here we are with word of mouth, right? You make an impact with anybody as far as your clientele, people you sign. You never know who you're signing, right?
Right.
Word of mouth can help a lot.
And once you start building that relationship, it's not just in the business aspect. It can lead to something personal, right? And now you're building trust. It's like, yeah, this guy or this gal can take care of it. Yeah, sure. I know my clients are in good hand, because at the end of the day, we are an extension of you.
Right.
And you're an extension of whoever gave you the deal, your LO, your realtor, or if you have a, whatever.
Yeah.
So we represent each other.
Right.
And if I'm at the signing table and I'm rude and it's like, oh, sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here. It's like, wait a minute. Like, this is my first time buying a home. I wanted it to be a beautiful experience, taking a picture, posting it. Congratulations. No, nothing. This guy was rude and he just signed, didn't even provide a copy. And that was it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yes,
it goes a long ways. It's more of the actual physical work that we do.
Right.
There's a lot more to that, right?
It's what they say that the way you buy is the way you sell, right?
You know what? I've learned that, and they kicked me in the rear end. A lot of times you try to cut corners. It's like, well, okay, if I go over here, I get a better discount. If you start having that mentality, okay, well, go over there with the discount, because when you're trying to sell something, the same thing's going to happen to you. So the way you buy is the way you sell.
It's huge. For me, it's cheap is not cheap ain't good, and good ain't cheap.
No.
You have to pay the price.
Hey, I mean, you pay for what you get, right?
You pay for what you get.
So it took me a while to understand that. And if you guys are out there listening, pay really close attention. The way you buy is the way you sell. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's just a reflection of you as a person, It's just crazy. That's a really good one.
So let's end it with a positive note. So, something positive that, you think you've taken throughout your years, being now a business owner of a big company. Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
Give. The more you give, the more you receive. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's crazy to think, but I don't have it. Still give it. If you're facing a financial hardship and you see, a homeless out on the street and it's like, you have $1, give it to him. Even though you need that $1, give it to them.
Yeah.
It's crazy how the universe gives you back tenfold.
Yep.
A lot of times we're feeling like depressed and you need a hug, or just a simple smile.
Yeah.
Smile to somebody.
Say hi.
Take the initiative. Someone's a complete stranger on the street. Hey, how you doing? I guarantee you that it just, the way the universe works is crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes we grow up with certain culture habits, and then we grew up hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
Making bad decisions, going out and partying. It's like, that's not going to lead to anything good. And as my mentor says, go to bed at 9 p.m. Nothing good happens after 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and wake up early.
Wake up early. It's like, well, I don't have time. There's every single billionaire, millionaire
right.
has the same amount of time as you do.
Right.
What makes them different? Mm-hmm. It's their mindset.
It's a mindset.
Simple. It's their mindset. They want bigger stuff, greater stuff, and there's nothing they're focused.
Right.
It's simple, right? And I start applying all that to my personal life. First, it starts with you as an individual. Then you work with your family, and then your business. And man, it's unstoppable.
Yeah.
You can be unstoppable. So change your mindset. Really continue education. Read books.
Right. Very important.
There's a lot of stuff out there. Even though, there's motivational, there's sell courses, there's something that you like. You want to learn how to cook? Pick up a book.
Yeah.
Take a seminar.
Yep.
Why not?
Why not? I agree.
So, and give. Just give. And you'll be surprised how the universe pays you back.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jose, for being part of this podcast. Thank you for
having me.
being, one of my partners, in the business, and somebody that I trust, and then I put my clients' trust on you. And, for me, it's just been an amazing experience, and everybody that I, work with has said good stuff about Sunset Notaries. And with that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and thank you for the opportunity to, give you guys this informational podcast in reference to how we work hand in hand and how we work well enough to make sure that your loan signings go well. So thank you very much. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
escrow is.